Hello, folks. Welcome to the Hello World, podcasting with Magdalena. How is everybody doing? Listen, I just wanted to welcome you to my podcasting and thanks for tuning in. For those who are new, my podcasting is about personal growth, development, and figure out where the heck we are in this creation, what's going on. And what I really like to do is I like to use astrology as a guidance and look, like I said, always as a GPS, the direction where we are going, just to get us an idea, and also to see what's really going on in a collective. So, well, again, thank you for tuning in. And what is amazing, I just kind of wanted to point out that last time when I was doing my podcasting, I was talking about, using astrology for the personal and the soul growth. And I kind of got carried so away with the last podcasting that I kind of missed that, second aspect to how to connect to the spiritual growth. And I have to admit that I am glad that it happened because all of a sudden, some planets started to move in the next sign, and it's just giving me a whole different, better tools to kind of present to you. Because actually, on some level, what it's supposed to be kind of guiding us in the direction we are already living at. So that's pretty amazing. Also, what is pretty exciting for me, we just had actually yesterday a new moon in Scorpio, so it was actually very intense. Having a sun in Scorpio, moon in Scorpio, Jupiter in Scorpio. Jupiter will move pretty soon in Sagittarius. And what was amazing is that we just had an election 2 days ago. And I have to say, I was actually pretty touched, as I was watching some YouTube titles and, election in US, and, the response was, the world is watching us and how many countries are interested, what's going on here. And on some level, look, like I said, it was absolutely emotional because all of a sudden you can see how the world cares and people are kind of waking up what's really going on. And this is right now the direction where I'm kind of trying to kind of connect right now. It's pretty obvious right now that it's a great bridge or next step, what is going to happen. Meaning, the Scorpio is always bringing us a lot of unresolved issue, but it's also a transformer. And we had Jupiter right now in the Scorpio for a year, and it will right now move into Sagittarius. And so what does that mean for us? That means just flashback what really happened in the last year, how many stuff kind of got revealed, how many insanities got kind of presented in front of us. And I'm sure many of you who've been doing a lot of this, the shadow work, in the beginning, when you were kind of trying to introduce this information or what is going on at the deeper level to your friends, family, or bigger circle of colleagues, I'm sure you've been called crazy, insane. Oh, there's a lot of things going on. People have been called uneducated, stupid, and many other things, because the human consciousness is not capable to process all this information. And so what is really happening when that happens, we just kind of put a roadblock. That's it. And so right now with this Jupiter in Scorpio, it kind of got everything just vomited on the surface. if you, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty graphic, but that's the, you know, exaggeration to understand the magnitude of what really just happened. And now we have actually Mercury going is already in Sagittarius, and as things Jupiter approaches, and on the 22nd we are having a Sun going into the Sagittarius, so it will be a lot of truth seeking. But what the job of the what's the name of the Jupiter? It will be actually, the Jupiter will become a conductor of this whole scenario. What that means is that now, for those who've been called all those names, including being conspiracy theorists, I always say, I wish it would be just a conspiracy. They will have a bitter taste of the truth, meaning the world will have to face the truth, what's really going on. It will end up to be unavoidable. Okay? Because why is the mainstream media called fake news? Because, they are really not willing to share with the humanity or the, listeners or people who are watching the TV or the news or whatever, they are not willing to share the truth. Well, I'm sorry, then don't be disappointed if you are getting pointed out that you are a fake news, bringing the fake news. So, that's just the reality of it. And so I think there will end up to be a lot of changes in that department too, is that people will wake up that, they are not getting the whole truth. And so what the Sagittarius, again, let me just go back, what the Sagittarius, Jupiter in Sagittarius will actually boil down is, people have to face the truth. Do we like it or not? That will end up to be a whole different ballgame. In the meantime, we have actually Chiron in Pisces, which is actually great because Chiron is actually helping us with healing our wounds. And that means, a lot of people, who will kind of be right now bombarded with all this new information that is coming constantly on the surface. They will have to kind of deal with the shock and maybe kind of step into their own shadow, what is still unprocessed. And the Chiron will be the one that will take us to this rainbow bridge. Meaning, a rainbow, it's look like a prism with so many colors. But if you look this from the different aspect, meaning, aspect of ourselves from so many different point of view, that, it was maybe holding a false information, pain, many, many things, okay? So we will have a time of correction to feel that, make peace with ourselves, heal those wounds, and then, look, like I said, Chiron will take us in this whole new territory of the Sagittarius, or Jupiter in Sagittarius, that it will, kind of merge what we know and the whole new aspect of ourselves so that we can create a whole new reality. In that process, we will have actually Aries, or in Europe we will call it Aries, this whole new young asteroid who is a warrior goddess. Even though I don't like the word warrior goddess, but now I'm kind of using a whole different aspect of it, meaning to have the courage to step into that energy and endurance to step into the truth and bring it to fruition, to change the landscape, what we are dealing with it, and how to, go through the, again, even though I don't like to use the word battlefield, but in a sense, it is the battlefield because we are surrounded with so many energies that are, trying to overwhelm us. Let's just say that. And with that, I would say, also heal when the Chiron comes back from Pisces into Aries, help us to heal all the aspect that we were not able to stand into or didn't have the courage because they've been held back in fear or whatever quality or category, and they were just encapsulated, and now we have to kind of free it. And that's how I am seeing the Aries, this new goddess, helping to free yourself to be able to function in the reality that we are trying to recreate. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and when we are going through this chiron-rainbow-bridge and going through the shadow, we are opening a whole new territory in ourselves. So in reality, everything is actually happening inside, and what that will actually trigger is the change in the consciousness. And with it, we are having also Uranus in Taurus. Remember, we were already talking about a little about the change. And Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and now being in the Taurus, that will mean that a sudden change, and sudden change to nature of our own reality, a nature connected to the nature, us connected more to the nature, because our body is also a representation of the earth. We are manifesting ourselves into the physical form, and earth is our physical form. So there will be a lot of impacts on so many levels, okay? And to move into that direction, what we are moving actually right now in direction in the Pisces and stuff, through the Sagittarius, these are actually more abstract signs, and it's very difficult, to understand because they are not personal signs that you cannot see it. You can see when somebody's in a physical form, and when you are in that abstract form, you cannot see it, but you are creating this relationship of trust. And the only way we can actually understand that when you start to have experiences, and the experience will kind of bring the understanding that you are not crazy, that you are not just dreaming, that you are not making up the story. But these are the two worlds that we are trying to merge, like I said, our personality and our soul. And a lot of the time we are not listening to the soul, because the soul is not knocking, with the whistles and drums. The soul is actually much more gentle, and sometimes we may actually just totally miss the meaning of it. So folks, this is what I would kind of add to the second part, the connection between the personal